third last year, just 2 strokes back of Park Young, the eventual champion, who is in a star-studded group with Peng Xin and Kim Min So. Compared to 24 hours ago, we are looking at some overcast skies today and a very comfortable temperature of 22 degrees. Lee Dae-yeon is our leader. She just she just finished a little while ago. She shot 2 under today and is at 6 under for the event. She is currently sharing that 6 under score with a couple of players who are in and around those very high mid-single digits under par numbers. Projected cut line, as you'll see in the bottom right corner of the leaderboard, is currently at +2. With this being just the 3-round competition, we will make the cut after just 2 rounds of play. At the last refresh, we currently have 70 players at +2 or better. And that line, of course, can go up and it can go down as the day progresses. But yes, as we get set to head out to the course, it's Lee Dae-yeon, Chung So-hee, and Lee Ga-young all at 6 under par. Now, Chung So-hee is only through 4 holes. Lee Ga-young is only through 4 holes as well, though she'll be playing the second 9 on the east course as opposed to the conventional west course to come in. Elsewhere in the top 10, some notable names. Peng Min-ji, she shot a 71 today. She has the second best score. Tied for 4th with EU Lean, who was one of the co-leaders after 18 holes, but wasn't quite able to have the same level of success today as she had yesterday, shooting a 73 in a round with 3 bogeys, a double bogey at 6, and 4 birdies. And for Lee Dae-yeon, it was quiet but effective. Just 2 birdies and 16 pars, birdies at 8 and 17, as she would move into a share of the clubhouse lead after 36 holes. Chung So-hee, she had started the round in sole possession of 3rd place. Park Young was tied for 4th at 4 under after 18 holes, but it's been a tough start for her. You might have just caught her name buried in the leaderboard, quite frankly. She is +2 through her first 6, the defending champ, struggling out the gates in search of her first birdie today. So let's pick up the action then with Yoon Soo-ah. We have already seen an ace here at the par 3 third. It is certainly, yesterday was an attackable pin at the front left. Today we are sort of mid-right, in line with the middle bunker. Down that little valley, you should see it pop up. Oh, we're not going to quite get that far, but it is just in that immediate vicinity. We'll stay with the par 3s, but we'll move ahead to 8s, Hong Jin-young 2. Pin today is in the back third, 12 yards from the rear, 6 yards from the right fringe. Downhill from the front of the green to the back. You can be a little bit conservative, knowing that the hill will help with the slide. And the aforementioned defending champion. Her early round stumbles, bogeys at 1 and 4. Preparing an approach at the par 4 6th. Well, the pin will be pretty well buried, at least in terms of our perspective from the fairway, where the line of trees begins to the left of Park Young-young's shoulder is in and around where the pin is placed today. And she just escapes. My goodness, was that ever a close call. She's on the front half of the green, front quarter really when she needs to be longer, but her priority, just the fact she was able to get up and avoid the hill and the trees. Only 91 meters for Lee Ga-young over on the west course, hole number 12. Needs to stay nice and close to the front, and she's done a pretty good job at landing in the right spots. The momentum will take her to about 7.5 meters away. Approach to the green at the par 5. 142 still to go for Che Reem. This is going to be 7 or an 8 iron. .518 meters makes this the second longest hole on the course. That honor belongs to 18. Jin Young now putting from the fringe, looking for birdie. Starts it well to the left. That's a close call. She'll be satisfied. Get the green reads dialed in early is often a very good sign. Seeing just how long this par 5 is playing. Yesterday that would have been a near perfect approach, but we are 24 meters deeper on the green today. A chance to take the outright lead. And bit off just a bit more than she could reasonably chew. Okay, so fair bit of ground to cover with the downhill putts. That is about 95% perfect. But 95% is not what a birdie needs. Chenery settles for a par. Tied for 4th, just 1 under today through her first now 7 holes. Next putt from the fringe on 3 from Yoon Soo-ah. First was a slight miss to the right. This is a slight miss to the left. Jae Bun at 16. Struck firmly. Pretty good read. I'll be in the same boat as Chenery. Nice long putt. Follows in the same vein. It's a good setup. Two putts gets the job done. Young, this is going to be a marathon putt. Starting downhill, crests at the top. Like she knew she was in for a big one and an important one, trying to avoid a third bogey early, and that's in a precarious position. Example of a putt that was never really comfortable and never really resolved. Kim-In-Sun 7 at 7. 13 off the pace of her bronze finish a year ago. Looks like it's just going to hang on. That's a very nice putt. 3 birdies she's up to for the round. 72 yesterday. She's already matched her birdie total. Started the round with a bogey, but has been able to reset and put that in the rear view. Putting exceptionally well ever since. 2 under is tied for 16th position. Nicely putts to avoid the bogey. Chung So-Hee off with the birdie from 1 and 3 straight pars ever since. Early going on a Friday, pardon me, on a Saturday. Round 2 is usually Friday, not this week, of course. We are at Peiram. Lee Dae-yeon, Chung So-Hee, Lee Ga-young are our leaders, but Lee Dae-yeon will likely not have that mantle for very long, with Lee Ga-young and Chung So-Hee so early in their rounds today. Jin Young 2, Yoon Soo-ah, they round out the top 10. Projected cut line updated to +1. We'll take our first break and be back with more on the other side here in Yeoju. And welcome back. Important putt for Pak Young here. She tries to avoid a third bogey. It's a lengthy one. And maybe that's what the defending champ needed. As much of a confidence boost as a par can be. But the field is starting to leave her behind, and she'll need to use that putter and start to turn it in to some birdies, and do that in a hurry. Just off the fairway with the drive, so a wedge from the rough, trying to go diagonally left-right to back-right. That's a bit too literal, it's a bit too long. Now Yoon Soo-ah, 136 meters. She's grabbed 8-iron. Got a good bit of loft on that for that not having been a wedge. And maybe with the benefit of hindsight, 7 might have been the club. This is Peng Shin-shil. +3 means she has some work to do. It was a 75 in the opening round. Bogeyed the first, birdied 4. Yesterday was a bit nightmarish for her. She had a really good stretch from 3 to 7 with 3 birdies. But bogeys at 1, 11, 13, 18, and a double at 10. She was certainly fighting it yesterday. See if she can avenge that second 9 this afternoon. Pak Young with a great drive to start herself off. And 2 for 3 in the fairway to get us started on number 7. It was a right to left breaking putt that was perfectly judged speed-wise. Bunchat, 5 holes and 5 pars, 3 under. This is about 5 feet downhill with more break she had been anticipating. And that is not a gimme either for Lee Young. Short game dialed in early. Off the green to, well, let's call it 8 meters, certainly a long putt. From that position, you've got to be able to get down as quickly as you get up, and with a flat green, anything with less than that perfect parabola means it's quick. Certainly on a facility that's in fantastic shape, don't get me wrong, but it is firm and the greens have been quick. Well, that'll get the gallery out of their seats and excited. Another blind flag behind the trees. Pengxin Shield is next, 89 meters from the rough. All the way to the fringe, might have even rolled on it, can't quite tell with the sunshades blocking the view, but needless to say, it's not exactly where she wanted to place it. Downhill putt that didn't need much in the way of speed, certainly with the tailwind involved as well. Was hoping to take the outright lead. Now she's trying to stay in a share of it. Right to left breaker. 4 feet and the bottom of the cup. Next at 7, going pin seeking, a little backspin, keeps her close to pin high. Obviously a well-attended group today, and for good reason. Great that our presenting partner this week, E1, has made admission for the supporters free all week. The only charity based tournament of the season. Chung So-Ee's at 5. High arcing approach down the left side of the slope and into the little bowl, front left of the green. Jin Young 2 goes out with a 34. Her birdies came at 1 and 3. She is 2 back after 9. Chanuri, going to be a long runner. Flexing her pitching wedge prowess. She'll have very little remaining to finalize the par. Shield, the first to play for birdie at 7, leaves that short. Top-down perspective really shows off the undulations of this 7th green. Starting on line, doesn't get over. Starting back up the hill, and it's like a magnet drawn towards the cup. Passes putt 1 with flying colors. Park Young for birdie. Couldn't do the repeats. Back-to-back pars now for Park Young, who is responsible for a great majority of the supporters in attendance. Chenery is through one more. Machine Shield with her par as well. This is the overview from the teeing ground down to the 8th green. The gallery finally arrives, and the final practice swings and club selections are made. Xing Xiu will have the honor. Well, this has been a tough nut to crack, pardon me. Not impossible, but certainly a tricky pin on this Saturday. Away goes Pak Young Young. And she's going to end up almost in an identical location. And we are off and running on the hole number 8. Not a very long walk. In fact, it will feel like a sprint. 139 meters. It is the shortest hole on the course, so we'll be able to get back there quickly. Ige Young 6 iron. Tee shot at the par 3 14th is a little shallow. Hugging the tree line and trying to fade that approach onto the green. Obviously, the more you can fade, the better you'll fare. Of some frustration that the putter is ice cold. It's another par for Jeremy Boonchant. Yunsua 104 meters, her third at the 5th. You have to flip a coin to figure out who's closest to the pin, but she is up. All thought out, just a little bit heavy. To use the flat stick from the edge of the green. It serpentines its way around. I guess it helps us with our homework. We know that that will be a left to right breaking putt for par. Nicely finished. Hong Jin Young too with a strong start to the second 9, birdieing 10 and moving just 1 off the lead. This is Pak Young going with the more tentative approach, and it might just be exactly what the doctor ordered. It is one of the many reasons for her brilliance, an example of that there. There's no such thing as an impossible putt when it comes to her. Still in search of that first birdie, but playing some much better golf since hole number 5. And that's a par for Iga Young as well, keeping herself in that three-way tie for the lead. Just about hovering over the edge of the cup. Doesn't matter which side of the putter she uses. She's going to get to the end of the line. Back to Kim In-sol, who's at +5. Not anymore. It's a stroke to the goods. Similar start to Pak Young. She had been 2 over until this point. That's a great birdie. So +4 now within 3 strokes of the cut line. She obviously has some work to do in the final 2/3 of this round. Down the center of the valley. Ball is never going to come back over to the right. Good try from Kim In-sun, 7. She's not making it easy on herself, but she delivers in the clutch to avoid another bogey. It's an excellent putt from Pang Ching-chil. Starting off with the drive to the bend in the fairway out the left. Straightforward and uneventful as you'd like with the driver in hand, and that leaves Pak Young at the tee. we go. Last hole at the turn. Par 5, 517 meters. And certainly for one of the members in the group, fresh off a birdie, feeling a little bit better about where she's at in the tournament than she was 15 minutes ago, but knowing she needs at least 3 more birdies to make the cut. Here's Jung Soo-hee, 6.7 meters. This is the putt on number 6. Never. As she came close to hanging on to the line, it never really looked like it was going to make that little right to left wiggle and get into the hole. Meanwhile, Chae Bunn has no problem cashing in on a putt. This was over at 18. Her third birdie of her opening 9. She will head to the East course next and do so filled with confidence. On after 2. Birdie putts will come next. Jeremy Boonchant. Not just that this putt needs to get onto the green, it needs to get to the back. Nothing to write home about. That birdie putt certainly would be. Hung-Shin Shields, second shot at 5. With the power she has, she is often one of the best scoring par 5 players on the tour. Chunuri, this is for par at 18. It was a long putt with not the most straightforward path to the cup either. She's going to drop before she's done 9. It's the only blemish on an otherwise very strong start. And even 36 at the midway mark. Couldn't ask for a much better perspective than this. We were right there with that putt from the moment it left the putter. And now Jeremy Bunchen, 7.6 for birdie. 4 under would move her into the top 10. Our invited player remains without a birdie in this opening round. Impressively, forgetting about hole 1, her first of the tournament, since then she has been bogey-free. It's a 24-hole stretch. That's an easy way to keep yourself in the conversation. Just about in the middle here at number 9. See if Peng Xin can get any closer. That's really well played. Starting to put together several successive shots. Just needs to break the birdie dam. Pak Yang goes further than Peng Xin. She is the closest to the rear of the green. Nobody is betting the house on a birdie there, but we would be more than happy to be surprised. We'll take a break. When we come back, the first putts at 9 on the halfway point of the round for Pak Young, the defending champion, and her group. Well, our second hour of coverage of round number 2 begins with Pak Young and her group on the green. She wasn't going to, barring an eagle, get to an even 36 at the turn, but a birdie would have felt better than a 38, which is what she is staring at after that lengthy birdie putt wasn't cashed in on. Jay Budd, meanwhile, she's through 9 holes, beginning her second 9 on the East course. If you compare how she fared yesterday, this opening 3 holes was a really tough stretch for her, pardon me. Back-to-back-to-back bogeys. Otherwise, just chalk those off, turn them into pars, she'd be the leader. One of 4 in this hypothetical. Oh, the hill and almost in the hole. It looped around and popped out the other side.
Nice ball. Right there. Right there.
There's plenty of movement there. She knew exactly what the break would do, as we can see by the ball ending up in the perfect spot. But it curves around the cup. She'll settle for par. And that is the risk of being long. A hump in the middle of the green, falling to the front and back sides. She's off to the ladder. She'll with a close call, but she'll also have to settle for par. She's officially halfway through the tournament, trying to defend her title. It's a 38 on the way out. Set up for the par. Of course, she has to convert on the other half of that proposition, Chen-Marie. This is a marvelous looking putt. It just needed a little extra oomph and it would have got there. We're back here at 16, I believe, if memory serves. Young was watching that inch closer and closer, but stopped just short. She remains even through the first 7 holes today. Chung Soo-hee, it's the first bogey today, comes at 7. Drops her 2 even. Kim In-sol on the tee of 10. Easily clears 200. In fact, that clears 230 meters of carry. Tucks in neatly in behind at 220 in the carry, and around 230 by the time it comes to a stop. Following in order from longest to shortest off the tee. Park Young going to bring the driver with her for the walk down. Let's take this opportunity to reset at 3:12 local time. No longer a 3-player tie for the lead after Hong Jin-young 2 bogeyed. Currently Zhu Dayan and Lee Ga-young in the top spots. Peng Min-ji, Yu Lin, Hong Jin-young 2, Han Chi-won, and Chung So-hee currently tied for 3rd at 5 under. A 68 today from Kim Soo-ji to move her into the top 10. You'd have to look quite a long way down the leaderboard to find anyone to compare to 4 under. One of the best scores of the week thus far, certainly the best of the day. The veteran poised for a great Sunday after today's performance. One more break. Back in 3 minutes at the E1 Charity Open. And welcome back to the Payram Club. Chung Soo-yi, fresh off a bogey, dropping her out of a three-way tie for first, trying to rebound at the par 3. Heads to a fabulous spot at the back of the green. It's the perfect club for that situation. Not bringing much extra speed with her. Kim Min-sol after the tee shot at 10 narrowly avoids the bunker. Lands on the green with a thud. Loop around. She'll have a uphill putt for the birdie. That's a decent spot to be. Got the club and distance required all wrong. That's well short of the hole. Lee Ga-young at 17. The par 4, 142 meters out. Instead to the narrow section of the green in the back corner. She'll leave herself with no putt is easy, certainly from that distance, but a relatively speaking easy 6-meter putt for birdie. Chanuri, from her spot short of the green, she pops back out to where she wanted to be with the initial approach.
아니 이건 봐줘요. 한 사람 봐줘. 8번으로.
이거가 가져가도 침대요, 침대.
8번으로 전원.
침대 필요 없어요.
어? 많이 안 갔어. 핀 42 찍혔어.
Well, she's done really well to go and get that birdie right back. So we returning to 6 under par. Watching on with keen interest. From off the green to the other side of the pin. Running that up from near the front of the green to a makeable 3 meters or so for Pak Young. And here's Jay Bunn looking to avoid a bogey. It looked off from the moment it left the putter, and unfortunately for her, missing the green with the approach led to some drop points. Causes a crowd pop. Iga Young, her last birdie was at the 11th, and now the first to 7 under par at the 14th E1 Charity Open. The lead belongs to her, and no one's to suggest she's going to slow down. Again, close to the back-to-back. Uphill climb, and at the summit was a birdie. That'll bring out a smile for Chenery. Jeremy Bunchant, 94 meters. From the edge of the fairway. Over the pin, but with the backspin from the wedge, she keeps herself in striking distance. Young able to avoid a bogey, saves par with a good putt. We have a new leader. Iga Young finally under par today. Her second birdie brings her to 7 under and is now the pace setter here at Payram. Projected cut, it remains at +1. 62 players at that mark right now or better. And many more still trying to throw a second half push towards making that number change to even or even better. This is the 14th E1 Charity Open with $1 billion up for grabs. It will be awarded tomorrow, back in 3. Hole 11 begins with Kim Min Sol. Most recent to birdie, she did so at 9. Jeremy Boonchen trying to end the dry spell. Delicate touch with the putter. Slightly off left. Oh, 9 holes, 9 pars. 3 under tied for 11th.
수고하셨습니다.
Another massively struck drive, 232 meters of carry downhill. It is offline though, it ends up in the rough to the left of the fairway. Here on the par 3, number 14. 153 meters with the pin today, all the way in the back right corner. She's not the first to end up on the back right instead. Back left, pardon me. Off the flag and out. Close call. That was a quick runner from off the green. That's why the flag stays in. We will see plenty of orange, and we have seen plenty of orange. Officially at the midway mark of the tournament. 4.5 hours in, 4.5 to go to determine a champion. A tournament that has provided many a first-time winners. 6 of the previous 13 champs here have won for the first time in their career. Think of a breeding ground for the stars of our tour. And for some, it could be the one and only title that they will have in their career, and that's part of the magic. Every week a winner. You get the dominant forces who seem to do it way too regular for it to be normalized. And for others, it's a return. Park Yang-young certainly needed this win a year ago to get her back into the victory circle for the first time in some time. Draw a roar, and for good reason. He's played in like a darts player. It certainly was a darts. Kim Min Sol. She can convert on that birdie. She would move within 2 of the cut line. That's where Pang Ching Shield currently is. Judged the power pretty well. Center of the green when she would have preferred to be out left. This was from a couple of moments ago. You can hear the roar from Kim Min-sol's approach. Hong Jin-young too, now 2 back of the lead. She's done a great job avoiding bogeys. 3 birdies today, the rest have been pars, and it doesn't look like that trend is going to change with another nice setup. Off the green, rolling that to about 4 meters away from a par. Well, here's Iga Young. This is her final hole before the turn at 7 under. Drops that into the hillside fringe just before the sand. Fresh off a birdie to return to 6 under. She follows it up with par. Punching shield 9.1 meters. This would be something for the highlight reel. It's another one in the long list of pars. One of the steadiest players out on the course today. Yeah, also with par, avoiding bogey.
올라갔습니다.
Get over. Close call for our leader, but she will be just up by the 1 stroke at the turn. Birdies at 11 and 17, bogey at 10, 7 under at the midway mark of her tournament. Kim Min-sol, her second birdie in the last 4. It's a slight chance, but it's a chance nevertheless.
너무 좋아요. 너무 떨리는데 너무 좋아요. 3승하려고 노력을 계속 하고 있었어요. 근데 그 중에 1승이 이제 추가됐고 이제 2승을 더 하고 싶습니다.
지금은 그냥 아직 얼떨떨하고요. 제 올해 목표가 2승이었는데 생각보다 정말 빠르게 우승을 첫 승을 하게 돼가지고 이제 남은 대회에서 또 우승을 빨리 하는 게 목표예요.
So an update on the Dream Tour. Through their 21 scheduled events this season, we are through 8. Jung Ji-oh winning the Gunsan Dream Tour 8th tournament. So-hei, the Haiwan Resort Dream Tour tournament, the week prior, and Kang Chae-yeon won the DB High Tech Dream Tour at Rainbow Hills, all in the month of May. A feeder tour to the top-fledged KLPGA tour that we love so much. How many of these players used those years, in some case that year, to prepare them for the big show. Kim In-sun 7. This is a really, really nice on at 13. Using that end of fairway transitional fringe run-up. Young halfway through the round, halfway through the tournament, and leading by 1 stroke. Played her opening 9 on the west course. Her second 9 will be here on the east, starting with a pair of par 4s. Here's Park Yang. On the green with flair.
쳐도 돼? 올라갔습니다.
And yesterday, the East course is where Ega Young did most of her damage. Until she birdied to start her round today, she had been, and since then is bogey free. And 24 hours ago, it was birdies at 3, 7, 8, 9. All right, so the tee shot's away. Let's go back to 12. Approach time, punching Sheila at 106. A reminder of the pin today at the front right of the green. Two solid ons to get us started. J-Ring 115. It's one of the best approaches of the afternoon thus far. Able to replicate the same level of precision as she misses the green in regulation. Near miss. Fractionally off Consorter stroke.
나이스 파! 파이팅!
Back half of the round for our leader Ega Young is underway with a one-stroke advantage. Ega Young Chung So-Ui is still holding down the fort, tied for second, pardon me, with Chung So-Ui also at the midway mark of her round, but on the opposite course. She will try to go tete-a-tete with Iga Young and pick up some birdies on the way in. Jeremy Bunchant, even through 9 holes, 9 pars. We'll take a break. More on the other side at Payrom as our coverage of the 14th E1 Charity Open continues. And back to the action with Jeremy Bunchant. It'll be a 10th straight par despite yet another close call. There's Jay Reen on hole number 11. It's a pretty shocking miss from that distance. She's going through those feelings right now. Kim In-sol, short chip at 12. She still needs a couple more birdies despite being the most productive member of the group. Peng Xin-Shu with a big backswing for this uphill putt. It's more or less been the story of her day and the story of her round. A lot of close calls, but very little in the way of birdies. Kim In-sun 17 off on hole 14, first of the par 3s on the back 9, both of them coming in a pretty short loop at 14 and 16. Park Young, she throws her head back because she knew the line was there, while simultaneously meeting the realization that she underhit that putt. Sailing right past the flag and onto the runoff at the back of the green. And Kim In-sol, close to another birdie. She settles for par this time round. Didn't look like that putt should have had a chance. And yet, she found a way to make it interesting once again. Hong Jin-young, too, already up 10 spots from where she started the day to a tie for 4th. Just one birdie since hole number 4, and that came at 10.
좋아 좋아 나이스 나이스
She was on par here at 12. And that with a little curl at the end. Drops down for Chung So-Yi, who moves into a tie for the lead once again. This time she's done so at 7 under. Putting from off the green and close, but not quite able to reach the preferred destination of birdie. Off the flag and somehow not going in. If the flag was pulled with the speed that that ball was struck, Ms. Boonchen would likely have ended the par run.
Nice par. The right kick.
And Ige Young, well, she was sharing the lead for about 35 seconds. Quickly taking it back. Eating up 98% of the remaining distance, leaving herself with a little more than a tap in. They are certainly in for a race to the finish line. Chung So-Yi and Ige Young sharing the top spot at 7 under, both through 10 on separate sides of the course. Hong Jin Young too, coming close, but still stalling ever so slightly. Couple of strokes off the top. Projected cut line remains at +1 after 2 hours of play. The 14th E1 Charity Open, round number 2 from Peyron. Into the 5 o'clock hour here in Yeoju-si up in the Gyeonggi province of Korea. KLPGA Tour back on the airwaves, heart of the 9th event of the season. Interesting to go from a 5-day affair like we had last week at the Tucson Match Play. Pengxin Shiel won that tournament in a field of 64. And we are marching into the big money events in the heart of the summer. Sultry and Queens Masters, 3 days for 1.5 billion won at Sungmunan. And the Mercedes-Benz 40th Korea Women's Open Golf Championship. Less than a month away already. Bakarum 2 running out of time to make a run at +6. Coming off a bogey at the turn, so she is out of the top 100 now. Projected cut at +1 means she basically needs to birdie more often than every other hole. Chung So-hee, a co-leader, are on at 11. Play away short. Supporters thought there was a chance. Wasn't for nothing. Che Ream 127 on the par 5. Made a beeline for the fairway. Stops just short with the front pin placement in the second round. Park Young for birdie, looking for 3 under. And just a bit too much break. The defending champion feels like she can't buy one at the moment. Kim In-sun 7. Another putt, another approach, pardon me, well, she'll try to keep close to the front. Fortunately for her, it looked like she was aiming for the fringe to try to reduce the amount of speed that it would bounce and roll away from the pin with. She avoids the thickest of the rough. Kim In-sol. Is that another birdie? Nearly. Her caddies certainly thought it was there. Che Ream with a little dribbler, a pitching wedge from off the green. Here now with Pengxin Shield trying to avoid a bogey. Oh. That is a tough time to have a miss like that. So that drops her to 3 beyond the cut line. Che Reem trying to avoid an identical fate. Too quick. Her line was there. She skips out the backside and she will drop to even. And now she suddenly is perilously close to that cut line as well. From off the green to inside the shadow of the flag, setting up a short putt for par to keep her position at the top of the leaderboard. Young just missed the sand and from the rough gets up and leaves herself with 5.5 meters or so to now save a par. Well, a misread and overhit putt for par will lead to a bogey. Iga Young's not necessarily in the clear either. Some second bogey of the round, and for the time being, she has dropped out of the leads. Jeremy Boonchen will just slip onto the green. Tracking really well, even though it was a bit quick. Not very long for the green as it quickly sprints off the back. That brings a roar as Ziga Young is able to sustain her advantage with a long putt. 7 under is hers and hers alone. What an absolutely marvelous putt.
살짝 열고 대신 캐리가 떨어지긴 해야 돼. 반복되거나 그러면.
If this was 24 hours from now, well, 24 hours from now we'll probably have our winner, but this stage of the tournament tomorrow, that could be the type of putt that decides a tournament. It's been the story of the round. Some strong play, very strong play. But the difference between where she's at, Hong Jin Young 2, and where our leader's at is birdies. Improbable ones at times. She's made a career on being clutch. Only had 2 birdies today. Most of her heavy lifting came yesterday when she was 6 under after 18 holes. Without a single bogey yesterday, looking for her 4th career victory. It's a tight spot,
다안 쳐도 될 것 같아요.
riding the right side of the green with little in the way of forgiveness on the outside. Another victim claimed. And the rattle to signify the end of the hole. Peng Xiu after the bogey, her tee shot at 14. Also off the green, though she is able to stay on the fringe. Flag comes out for the shortest of moments, and the par is tapped in. in behind. 2 on the green, 1 further to the right. Don't have a definitive answer on just where, but we know she won't be putting. Hong Jin Young, too, meanwhile, is putting as she tries to stay in a tie for third. She avoids the bogey once again. Ige Young's tee shot now with the par 3 third. We are 2/3 of the way through for many, including 2 of our top challengers. Chung So-Ee's bogey, though, at 11, dropped her to 6 under par. Ige Young saved a par with a great putt to maintain her position at the top at 7 under par. Update at the projected cut, it has dropped to +2, which is good news for some. Around 30 minutes to go here on a Saturday in Yeoju-si, the 14th E1 Charity Open. And welcome back. The saga of Park Young-young's rounds. It has been fairly uneventful since the fourth hole, where she carded her second of 2 birdies in the first 4 holes. It has been all pars ever since. Young, a 13-meter putt, which she will use as an attempt to set up par. Even for someone who has putt as incredibly well as she has done this week, that one's a bit much to ask. Despite the supporters' most impassioned pleas, birdie will not be the score. Over to 18, Lee Se-young is at 1 under par. It's a 78-meter approach. A rattle as she comes close to jarring it. Similar to Lee Se-young, it was a long putt for Chung So-hee, who started the day at 3rd on the leaderboards and has had her share of the birdie fun already today, and time at the top. Kim Min-sol just about holding out on the par 3. Do some quick math. That leaves her with 4 holes to try to seek +2. Now that cut line is provisional, of course, so +1 would give her a little bit more comfort, I suppose we can say, knowing that when she finishes, she won't be able to be caught by that line. Chung So-hee now to try to save par. Gets herself close. Kim Na-yeon 2 First time we're seeing her today, and will be the last time we see her today, as this is 18. Finishes with a birdie. She had a lot of them on the way in, didn't she? 5, in fact. 31 on the way in, 3 under after 36 holes. Kim Min-sol. A moment she would have thought that she had a chance to birdie from off the green. She settles for a par. She was talking herself through the backstroke. Could tell she was never quite comfortable with that putt. And Lee Se-young, that would have been 2 under had she been able to make. She settles for par instead.
바로 안 봐도 돼. 고맙습니다.
Tee shot to the end of the fairway, stays in play. In regulation, that is. Really nice approach. Lands that a couple of feet to the right of the pin and stops on the fringe, a place where she can look to birdie. It's got to be frustrating, goes without saying, but almost hard to believe at this point for Jerry Bunchant. How many 6 to 10-inch putts has she had to face today? Very kind skip off the start of the green. Now it just needs to stop. The upslope will help take care of some of that. And then it'll roll back down to a very comfortable 4 meters or so. Get in there. Some of the ball is teetering over the edge. Not enough of it though for Park Young-kyung. 11 holes now in a row with pars. The defending champion tied for 19th. Her caddy's trying to find some levity, but can understand why Pak Young might feel a bit frustrated. All right, so we know the tap in is a gimme there. We can break over to check in on Chung Soo-Ee's second shot on the par 4. Gets stopped short. Just about everyone in the group, either centimeters on or centimeters off the fringe. Hong Jin-young too, just about there with a birdie at the last. It was fractionally off, so it is a day of 5 under par, pardon me, a day of 3 under par, 5 under for the tournament, up 10 spots. And most importantly and most impressively for her, bogey free. Wow is the appropriate response to that. Pang Xin-Shil 9-iron tee shot here at 60. That's really well done. An ability to go around the horn and check in players that we haven't seen much of today, and some notable moments, including the longest birdie putt, I think it's certainly safe to say, so far today. Hole number 5, An Ji-hyun, who had been at even. And the birdies were coming thick and fast from throughout the course. Lee Se-young at the time trying to get back to even and give herself some breathing room from the cut line. It was dramatic. And it was certainly helpful in getting to even. Back here at the par 3, Pak Young, the first to putt. Second putt confirms the par. She's down to 2 holes remaining. Pang Shin-shil, well, she's been up against it for the past few holes. And now with just 2 left, the math is not in her favor. Everything but the final 5 centimeters. Chung Soo-hee, the birdie that she sought. And now Kim Min-sol just hangs on. Birdie to take her to +2, so it's job done. She's reached the cut line, which 90 minutes ago would have seemed like a fever dream. And the setup putt. As Lee Ga-young settles into a comfortable rhythm. And Kim Shi-hyun's second birdie in the last 3 holes. She is under par. Once again, she was at that mark after 9. A couple of early second 9 bogeys dropped her down, but she has since recovered. And around and down. And that is relief plastered across the face of Derby Boonchen. Finally gets her birdie that she's been seeking for so long. Liga Young, it's second time in a row where she's had to reach deep into her bag of tricks and come up with the par. Well, that's just about it for 3 hours today. No changes to the front page of the leaderboards. Shaping up to be quite the exciting series of final groups tomorrow, including Peng Min-ji. If she can finally return to victory lane, Kim Soo-ji's 68 means she will be no easy out. And Lee Ga-young still has 5 holes to try to pad to the advantage. Jeremy Bunchant gets that birdie at long last. She's 4 under through 14. Yoon Soo-ah is still even after 12. She's at 4 under. And Kim Na-yeon 2 has eclipsed Kim Soo-ji for the round of the day with a 67. Another notable update, the cut line +2. And Kim Min-sol at the +1 now does have that little insurance as well. And with that, it is time to let you go today. We appreciate you having joined us for a very exciting moving day Saturday. Not a lot of drastic movement, just some more steady play and setting up a fantastic finish tomorrow. And we will bid you farewell for the evening. We'll remind you, as we always do, that the final round will begin 1 hour earlier than the first 2 this week, so that will be a 1 p.m. local time start here in Yeoju-si, where we will pick things up and crown a champion at the 14th E1 Charity Open. For all of us here at the KLPGA Tour, I've been Adam Jenkins. Thank you for your continued viewership and support of the KLPGA Tour, and we look forward to welcoming you back tomorrow. So long, everyone.